Hey everyone. All right, so in today's vlog, I want to talk a little bit about desire. I want to give you the negative parts of desire that slow can hold you down in your spiritual growth, and I want to talk about the positive aspects of desire too that will help you grow spiritually. So let's look at the negatives first. So often in this life, when we experience a desire for something, especially if you haven't become the observer of your life and you're very much so connected to your experiences and your stories. And when I say connected, I mean you give emotional charge to your stories, to your experiences that you have in your everyday life. That's what I mean, that you're still bonded with that because you give it emotion. So back to desire, negative aspect of desire. Let's say that you go through in a relationship, let's say your husband, you feel like you're just not getting anything out. You're not getting certain things out of the relationship. And what you desire isn't being fulfilled. Or let's say that your significant other walked out on you. Okay. So when somebody walks out on you, and this can just be in a situation, I don't mean completely in life, but let's just say someone walks out on you. What are the immediate reactions? The immediate reaction will be anger, right? And then also, for some reason, we begin to feel shame, guilt, and we begin to really analyze the situation. So now we're further putting ourselves in this situation and attaching ourselves more to the situation by analyzing it in your brain, and we start to say to ourselves things like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Did I do this? Is this my fault? You'll start creating these scenarios in your head. And let's say this person broke up with you. You begin to create these scenarios, like I said, out of fear, shame, guilt, and grief, which are all ego, right? They're all low vibrations. So what these negative emotions that are now stirring within you do is they create desire. And the desire, because you're feeling such lack, can only be fulfilled by the other person. So now you've lost all self-love within yourself because you're attaching yourself to a situation and another person, and you feel like you can only be fulfilled with love and completed from the other person. So instead of giving grace and instead of being grateful for your time with that other person and being grateful for what you learned from the relationship and taking it and just saying, I am that, comma, I am, and letting it go. I am that, comma, I am is such a huge statement. And I say this to myself all the time because it detaches me from situations, and it just allows me to be the observer, look at a situation and say, okay, I am that, I am, and that's it. So what happens when you are able to look at a situation from I am, and I'm not talking about, like, I am can also be a negative thing, because when you say I am, you're pointing at you, right? Like, I am this body, I am. No, I'm taking I am to a high vibration now. And what I mean in this situation when I'm talking to you right now is when I'm saying I am that, comma, I am, I'm not attaching it, I'm detaching myself from the scenario, from the other person, and I'm taking the situation in grace and gratitude by saying, okay, I am that. I am. I'm feeling these feelings, and I'm letting them go. What happens when you don't put desire into the picture is you don't give power to the other person. You're able to see desire as it is. You're able to really recognize a situation and go through emotions and feelings almost practically, and forget the practicality of it, but you're able to do this out of love for self. It's because you know, all right, well, I am that. I am. This is the situation. This is what it is. And you allow it just to go through like you would in meditation. It just kind of goes through like a thought does, like a cloud does, a lot of people say in meditation. So desire in this situation creates attachments a lot of the time. But when you begin to release desire, these attachments fade away, and that is when you connect with your true self. Because when you're connecting with your true self, what's really happening is it's a shift in perception, and that shift in perception happens very quietly. This is what I wish I could just keep saying over and over. In my experience, what has happened is every time I've released desire, even the desire to learn, even the desire to educate and read, there was a time where I wanted to just do tarot all the time and just listen to spirituality, and that's all I did. That's all I did for a very, very long time, for a couple of years, a few years even. It's all I did. I just had this like desire, and I wanted to learn, and then I wanted to practice, I wanted to meditate, but that, what I was doing it was also my ego, which was creating this desire to become more spiritual. But what I've learned is becoming present and experiencing that presence is almost a perception, is always a perception if you're looking at it through desire. But when you're able to shift fear, ego, so let's go back to the example of the relationship and the guy walking out. When you're able just to observe that and say, I am that, I am. I am that, I am. There's so much truth to that the fear dissolves and it just becomes love. And it happens quietly. And that's what spiritual shifts are. They happen gracefully and they happen quietly. And when I get emotional like this, I know my soul's talking. I know that this conversation that we're having is meant to be had, and it's coming from my soul. I can feel it. When I start tearing up like this and I start getting emotional, it's just me connecting with my soul, and I know she's talking to you. It's divinity almost. So just come to that internal quiet place. There's not a lot of hoopla in spirituality. It's not. It's just they're little quiet. You feel them. They're just, your perception's changed, and you know that fear didn't take over. You approach the situation with love. You know something has shifted, and only you have to know. Nobody outside of you needs to know. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say. That, you know, if you've been to, when you go to the beach and you look at the water, or you go out on a hike and you're all alone, and you're completely alone, no one's around, no one else is walking, no one else is at the beach, and you're just looking at the water, and you just know, wow, okay, I'm in existence with it all. Oneness is this rock, it's the water. I'm God. I am that I am. I am everything, yet I am nothing. That's what spiritual shifts feel like. They're lonely, they're quiet, but they give you such grace and this feeling of like joy, peace, and even like this dignity that has never been felt before, because you don't need anything from anybody else. You just know you're so whole and complete, and it happens in little increments. I love you guys. Bye.